All right, let's dive in. We're tackling what I call the Avatar mindset today. Inspired by, well, you guessed it, Avatar. We've got this fantastic article as our guide, and I'm thrilled to be breaking it all down with our expert guests. They're like the master of linking fictional stories with real life stuff.
You know, it never ceases to amaze me how even those fantastical stories, like Avatar, can reflect our own lives and give us fresh ways to look at the world.
Totally. And this article jumps right in with embracing change, adaptability too, using Jake Sully as a perfect example. He's dropped into this completely alien world, but not only does he survive, he flourishes. What are your thoughts on that?
What really strikes me about Jake is that he doesn't try to force his own expectations on Pandora. He's willing to learn, to adapt, even to physically change, right? He's like the embodiment of that idea that growth comes from embracing the unknown.
You know, that hits home for me. I think about times I've had to leave my comfort zone, like starting a new job or moving to a new city. It's tough, no doubt, but it's also when I've learned and grown the most. Have you had any experiences like that?
Oh, absolutely. I think back to when I first started studying anthropology. I was so fascinated by other cultures, but I quickly realized that truly understanding them meant challenging my own assumptions, being open to seeing the world through a different lens. It was as much about unlearning as it was about learning.
That's so insightful. It's just like Jake learning the Na'vi ways. He had to let go of his preconceptions and open himself to a completely new way of being.
And that willingness to learn from others, it's another core theme the article brings up. Jake's transformation truly kicks off when he becomes a student, humbly seeking guidance from Neytiri, Moat, the whole Na'vi people.
It makes you think about how vital it is to have people around you, people who have different perspectives than your own. It's easy to get trapped in our own bubbles, but real growth, I think, comes from engaging with different viewpoints, even those we might disagree with initially.
Couldn't agree more. It's those tough conversations, those points of friction, that give us the chance to broaden our understanding and refine our own beliefs, right?
Yeah.
Think about the impact of, any social movement throughout history. They often came from people who dared to question the norm and listen to those who have been silenced or marginalized.
It takes courage to challenge those ingrained ways of thinking, both within ourselves and in society at large. And speaking of courage, this article really emphasizes the Na'vi's deep respect and connection to nature. They see their environment as sacred, not just something to exploit. Makes you wonder, how differently would we treat our planet if we adopted a similar view?
The Na'vi's relationship with Pandora, it challenges that modern anthropocentric view we have. They understand they're part of this intricate web of life, and their actions reflect that deep reverence for interconnectedness. What if, as a society, we shifted our mindset from one of dominion over nature to one of harmonious coexistences?
That's such a profound question, and it's one that's becoming more urgent every day as we grapple with climate change and environmental damage. What are some concrete steps we can take, would you say, to bridge that gap between our current worldview and a more, Na'vi-like perspective?
I think it begins with cultivating a sense of awe and wonder. For the natural world, spending time in nature, observing its rhythms and complexities, can help us reconnect with that innate feeling of belonging to something bigger than ourselves.
That reminds me of that feeling you get when you look up at a starry night sky and you realize just how vast the universe is. And our place in it, it's both humbling and awe-inspiring.
Exactly. And that sense of awe can be a powerful motivator for change. It can inspire us to act as stewards of our planet, to make choices that prioritize sustainability, conservation, and the well-being of future generations.
So it's not just about abstract ideas or philosophy, it's about turning those insights into real actions, actions that make a tangible difference in the world.
Absolutely. And those actions can take many forms, from supporting environmental groups to reducing our own carbon footprint, to advocating for policies that protect our natural resources. Every step we take, no matter how small, contributes to creating a more sustainable and harmonious future.
I love that it's about empowering ourselves and each other to be agents of positive change, just like Jake when he chooses to fight alongside the Na'vi to protect their home.
And talking about fighting for what you believe in, the article contrasts the RDA's greed and destruction with the Na'vi's unwavering determination to defend their way of life. It really underscores the importance of courage in the face of injustice.
It makes me think about all the individuals and groups throughout history who bravely stood up for what's right, even when it was dangerous or unpopular. Their courage has sparked social change and paved the way for a more just and equitable world.
It's a reminder that courage isn't always about grand heroic acts. It's also about the daily choices we make. To speak out against injustice, to support those who are marginalized, to act according to our values, even when it's tough. Sometimes the most courageous act is simply refusing to stay silent.
And sometimes, finding that courage means tapping into the power of unity. We see that so clearly when the Na'vis come together to defend their home. They're up against a technologically superior force. But their strength lies in their shared purpose and trust in one another. What can we learn from them, would you say, about the importance of community and collective action?
The Na'vi's unity, it reminds us that we're stronger together than we are on our own. When people unite, driven by a common purpose, and belief in something bigger than themselves, they can achieve incredible things. Think about historic movements for social justice, or even local communities coming together to help those in need. It's a testament to the power of collective action,
It makes me think about how important it is to find and nurture communities that resonate with our values and provide us with a sense of belonging and purpose. Those communities, they can be a source of strength, support, and inspiration, especially when we're facing tough times.
It's about finding your tribe, those people who truly see you, hear you, and value you for who you are. And within those communities, we learn from each other, support each other, and work together to create positive change.
That's a great point to pause for now. We've covered a lot, from embracing change and adaptability to the power of unity and finding your tribe. We'll be back soon to delve deeper into the Avatar mindset.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Avatar mindset.
Ready to pick up where we left off?
Absolutely. We've been exploring so many fascinating aspects already, like the importance of adaptability and the power of community. There's still so much more to uncover. I'm really excited.
Me too. There's a lot to unpack. I'm eager to see where our conversation goes next. The article goes on to talk about this balance between technology and humanity, something Avatar really digs into. We've got the RDA with their advanced tech, but they use it to exploit. And then you have the Na'vi, deeply connected to nature. But they have their own tech too, which seems more integrated, respectful.
It's almost as if the film is asking us, what kind of relationship do we want to have with technology?
Yeah, that's a good question.
On one hand, technology has brought amazing advancements. Medicine, communication, you name it. But we've also seen how it can be used for destructive things, and how being so dependent on it can make us feel disconnected from ourselves, each other, and even the natural world.
I feel that tension in my own life. I love how convenient my phone is, connecting with people instantly, but then I find myself craving those unplugged moments, just being present without the digital distractions. Have you noticed a similar pull?
Absolutely. It's a struggle a lot of us face these days. I think the key is finding that balance, harnessing technology's power, but staying grounded in our humanity.
I like that. Technology as a tool we can use consciously.
Right. Being mindful of how we use it, setting boundaries, making sure it serves us, not the other way around.
It reminds me of how the Na'vi approach technology. They don't reject it completely, but they use it in a way that aligns with their values and respects their ecosystem's balance.
Exactly. It's recognizing that tech itself isn't good or bad. It's all about how we choose to use it.
Right, and those choices mean we need to be aware of its impact, both on ourselves and the world around us.
Absolutely. We have to ask ourselves, is this enhancing my life or taking away from it? Is it connecting me or isolating me? Is it helping the world or causing harm?
Those are powerful questions to consider, especially as technology keeps advancing so rapidly.
Yeah, it's about taking responsibility for our relationship with technology, not just letting it shape our lives passively.
I think that's key.
And part of that responsibility is knowing when to disconnect, giving ourselves space to reconnect with ourselves, nature, loved ones.
To just be present without the tech.
Yes, creating tech-free zones, whether it's a daily digital detox, a weekend in nature, or even no phones at the dinner table.
Those moments of disconnection are crucial for being present, for genuine connection, for just being human. And speaking of being human, something I find inspiring about the Avatar mindset is its emphasis on finding courage through purpose. We see it with Jake transforming from a lost soldier to a fearless leader, Torque Makto, the legendary writer.
What's so striking is that Jake's courage doesn't come from fearlessness. It comes from finding his purpose, his why, which for him is protecting Pandora and the Na'vi. It reminds us courage isn't the absence of fear, but acting despite it.
That resonates with me. It's like that saying, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. When we connect with a purpose bigger than ourselves, something aligned with our values, it ignites a fire within us.
Exactly. It gives us the strength to overcome our fears and reach our full potential.
And it doesn't have to be some grand world-saving mission either.
Right. It can be something smaller, more personal,
Yeah.
but equally meaningful. Something that brings you joy, that makes you feel alive, like you're making a difference.
That's so important. It's about recognizing purpose in the everyday. Our relationships, work, hobbies, even just how we interact with the world.
It's about figuring out what truly matters to you and letting that guide your actions, even when it's tough.
I think that's a great takeaway.
And when we live with that intention, with purpose, we tap into a courage we might not have known we had. We find a strength to face our fears, overcome obstacles, and become who we're truly meant to be.
Like Jake, going from feeling lost to becoming a force for good, all because he aligned himself with something beyond self-interest.
And that shift from self-interest to a broader sense of purpose. It's a theme that weaves through the whole Avatar mindset. It's about recognizing our well-being is tied to others and to the well-being of the world around us.
Like honoring those sacred connections that bind us together. Which brings to mind the Navi's connection with Awa, representing the interconnectedness of all life on Pandora. It's not just about spirituality for them, it's woven into their lives, their decisions, rituals, their whole way of being.
It is a beautiful concept, this idea that we're all part of a larger web of life. Our actions have consequences that ripple outward, and there's a sacredness to those connections.
It's a perspective that can bring peace, belonging, even wonder. I'm drawn to that, especially in a world that often feels fragmented. It reminds us we're not isolated, but threads in a tapestry, each playing a role in the overall picture.
And realizing those connections can change how we live. It can inspire gratitude for what we have, kindness and compassion for others, reverence for the earth.
It's shifting from what's in it for me to how can I contribute?
Yes, understanding that true fulfillment often comes, not from self-interest, but from giving back, serving something larger than ourselves, making a difference.
That's a powerful message, especially in a culture that often glorifies individualism and material success.
It's a call to reconnect with our shared humanity, to remember we're all in this together, to find purpose and meaning in building a better world.
For ourselves and future generations.
And as we continue exploring the Avatar mindset, we'll look deeper into how to cultivate those things, connection, courage, and purpose in our own lives.
I can't wait. We've covered so much ground, but it feels like we're just scratching the surface. We'll be back soon to wrap up our deep dive and see how we can put these insights into action.
Welcome back to our deep dive on the Avatar mindset. We've been having such a great conversation about adaptability, connection, courage, purpose, all these themes we've uncovered. Now, as we wrap up, there's one more concept that I think ties everything together beautifully. And that's this idea that growth comes from stepping outside of yourself. This is where we see Jake Sully's journey come full circle. He starts on Pandora, focused on survival, even driven by personal gain sometimes. But he goes through this incredible transformation. He becomes a leader willing to sacrifice everything for Pandora and the Na'vi.
It's a really inspiring example of how shifting from self-interest to a bigger purpose can lead to such profound growth. And the article highlights this willingness to contribute to something bigger, to step outside our own limited view. That's what unlocks that next level, I think.
It's important to note this isn't about denying our own needs or becoming martyrs, sacrificing ourselves. It's more about recognizing that interconnectedness. Our well-being is tied to the well-being of others and the health of the planet. When we nurture those connections, we nurture ourselves.
It strikes me that this idea of stepping outside ourselves, it can take so many forms. It can be grand gestures like Jake leading the Na'vi, but it can also be everyday acts of kindness, generosity, compassion, things that create positive change in our own circles.
Exactly. Volunteering, mentoring, standing up for someone, making eco-friendly choices, donating to causes, even simple things, a compliment, a listening ear, all of it makes a difference.
It seems like the key is that shift from what's in it for me to how can I contribute? When we have that outward focus, we not only create change, but we find more purpose and fulfillment.
That's the beauty of it. When we step outside ourselves, focus on positive impact, we tap into creativity, energy, inspiration. We find a strength we didn't know we had. And that's truly transformative.
As we wrap up our deep dive into the Avatar mindset, I want to leave our listeners with this. What part of this resonated most with you? And what small step can you take today to start bringing it into your own life?
Maybe there's a cause you're passionate about. You could volunteer, donate, get involved. Or maybe it's just about being more aware. in your daily life, looking for ways to be kind, to show compassion, understanding even a small shift can create those ripples of change.
Remember, the avatar mindset is a call to action. It's about embracing connection, courage, compassion, living with purpose. And we all have the power to embody these things, to make a difference in our own way. So keep exploring, keep growing, keep connecting. This has been the deep dive. Until next time.